Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you once again for tuning in to my video. So today I'm going to be talking about 6 things that I have learned in quarantine. And I don't know about y'all, but I have really enjoyed this quarantine. I'm just a person who's usually really busy, usually running to either work or somewhere else, like some other obligation. And so it was really awesome to just slow down and take some time to just regroup. I wasn't as productive as I thought that I was going to be, but I definitely learned a lot during quarantine. And I know the state where I'm living in, North Carolina, things are starting to open up. For some people, things started to open up maybe a while ago. So it just depends on where you live. But as far as where I live, I know that the whole full quarantine is kind of coming to an end. So I wanted to share with y'all 6 things that I am going to take into our new everyday life.
My body is your tabernacle. Lord, move me where you will. My heart is a beating reflection of your kind and your patient nature.
So the first thing I learned is just because I have time to do things does not mean I will. And so at first coming to this quarantine, I was super excited because I was like, cool, I can work on different creative projects. I can spend even more time with God. There's nothing in my way blocking me from doing the things that I know that I need to do. And at first I took the first few days to like rest and stuff like that. But then I realized that it was kind of turning into laziness and that I was just laying in my bed or that I was just in my phone too long. And I realized that I really have to have discipline if I want to do the things that I am supposed to do. And so I had to begin to push myself more and more because of course discipline isn't fostered right away. You know, you have to push yourself continually until it becomes more of a habit and second nature. And so I learned that you can have all the time in the world and still waste it. The next thing I learned is that mental health is so important. And of course I knew that mental health was important. Everybody pretty much knows that mental health is important. But when you are in isolation or when you see very few people throughout the day or throughout the weeks and you're kind of confined to your room or your apartment or your house, it is very important to maintain your mental health. And for me, I did this through constantly praying, listening to worship music, reading my word, and also through communing with other people. And so I joined Zoom Bible studies. I had FaceTimes with my friends where we just talked about life and where we talked about what we were learning in the word and just catching up in general. So that was really awesome for me to stay connected in that way to maintain my mental and spiritual health during this time. And there were plenty of times where I did not feel like praying, where I did not want to get up and read my Bible. There were plenty of times for that. So having friends in that way to help me stay accountable and also we could help each other, that was really helpful. So the third thing that I've learned is that it helped me pay attention to myself. I learned that it's really easy to become distracted with life and with responsibilities and with just caring for others. And so I actually took the time to pay attention to myself, to look at my needs. And I actually made some pretty big decisions that I probably wouldn't have made if I had stayed in the same flow of life that I was continuing in and that so many of us were continuing in. It really helped me slow down and realign my life with God and reprioritize what is important to my life. So the fourth thing I learned is the significance of nature and how important and relaxing it is to me. I already knew that nature is important, like it's literally the creation of God, of course it's important, but I really didn't have that much of a appreciation for it because I think of it as it's either really hot or it's really either cold or there's bugs everywhere, and so I'd rather just not be outside all the time. But I found that it was really good for my mental health and just super relaxing to actually get out and walk. I actually went to this really pretty park a lot where it has a huge lake, and it's about a 7-mile trail. And that was really, really beautiful and relaxing because you have the trees, you have the birds, you have the animals, you have the bugs just literally living their lives and glorifying the Lord. And there's just a specialness in that. And I really learned the importance of God integrated during this time. So the fifth thing I've learned is to not give so much of myself that I am running on empty. Self-care is super important. Whether it's taking a couple of hours to binge watch YouTube, or taking some time to watch your favorite Netflix show, or taking some time to journal, or just taking some time to exercise, whatever it is that looks like self-care to you, don't let that become low on your priority list, because if you are not taking time to self-care, then you cannot be effective for yourself and you cannot be effective in the lives of other people. And so I just learned to not wait till I was on empty in order to recharge. It's actually good to recharge every day, to take some time to yourself to regroup so that you can be good for the next day. So the sixth and final thing I've learned is to create an environment that fosters mental stability. And I found that this was super, super important while being in quarantine. So I honestly spent a lot of time in my room. I worked remotely during this time. And so I was always on my laptop working. I spent a big part of the day in the house, and that could get to me, honestly. And so I found that in order to make sure my mental space was well, in order to make sure that I was effective on my job, I had to keep my environment pretty neat. And so I made sure that my room was neat-ish. I'm not an extremely neat person, but I made sure that everything was in order so that I could be effective. Because with me personally, my mental space can be affected by my physical environment. So just making sure that my physical environment was in order so that I could get my thoughts together in order to be productive in real life. And also something that was like extremely cool was probably about 2 months before the quarantine happened. It was just really on my mind to get a desk, as y'all see behind me. And I didn't really know why the significance of a desk was like on my mind, but I was like, okay, I can really sit down and be intentional at my desk. I can write, I can be on my computer, I can read intentionally at my desk. So, okay, yeah, that's a great idea to get a desk for that purpose. But then I just saw, really just like the sweetness of God in this whole thing, because before then I didn't work from home. And so if I was ever on my computer, I'd be on my bed or on the couch. But with having this desk has been super amazing, because it has allowed me to be purposefully productive. And I have my desk right in front of a window where the beautiful sun can shine in, and it just really helps me a lot with feeling positive and feeling like I can attack the assignments that I am tasked to do on my job. I just realized that like no sweet thought you have is not for any reason. And even though I didn't know why it was being pressed on my mind, I realized that the Lord was pressing that on my heart to make me more productive during this time. And so yeah, those are the 6 things that I've learned in quarantine. I really hope that y'all have taken the time to use this quarantine in the way that you specifically felt that you needed to do that. And if you're coming out of the quarantine feeling like you didn't get much done, or not feeling successful in what you set out to do, it is okay. Where there's life, there is hope. And if God woke you up for another day, then he has a purpose for your life, and you can still fulfill that purpose. And so thank you for watching, and I will see y'all in my next video.